Hello, my name is William Brevard and I'm the CEO of No Limit Games. And this video right here is the first of our series for a new game called Battle of Souls, a new trading card game that we will be releasing very soon. So in Battle of Souls, each player will build their decks based off of whatever type of warrior set that they choose to fight with. Just like in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, where like in Magic the Gathering you can build a deck of elves, Yu-Gi-Oh! You can build a deck of spellcasters. Same kind of concept. In this case we have warrior sets. The first set of warriors that we're going to be coming out with when the game releases is the Aztec, Viking, and Samurai. Then we have some extra cards, what we call mercenaries. We call them extra cards. They basically have no affiliation to any particular place. They basically work for workers for hire. So the first series, the first video we're going to be releasing right now that I'm working on here is an introduction to what exactly Battle of Souls is and what it entails. During this video I'm going to explain all the different types of cards, how they work, as well as some of the basic rules for the game itself. So the first thing we're going to get to is let's talk about the game itself. Okay, so in Battle of Souls you have different warrior groups that you can choose from. Now these cards right here that you're looking at are our beta test cards. What I mean by beta test cards, you notice that none of the cards have an image in the middle part, basically a white part, and it's not actually a finished card. It does have some color to it. For example, this right here, you notice is a green card. It's one of our battlefield cards. It does have color, but it's not a finished card. The back of the cards are already finished. Has our logo right there. Our logo, it says Battle of Souls, which you'll see on the video in a minute. So, in Battle of Souls, you have a number of different types of cards that are found inside of each deck. Now these different cards all of course have their own purposes in the game, and they all play a little bit differently. So we're going to go through all the different cards. So the first cards we're going to go through are going to be your fighter cards. So you have 4 different types of fighter cards. We'll call these ranks. The first one here, the black card is your warrior. Warrior is a basic fighter. It can come out without any kind of prerequisites at all. They're not horribly strong, but they're not all of them all that weak either. They have some have effects, some don't have effects. But these are your warrior cards. These are the first level. Second level, a little bit silver card, is your elite warrior. Elite warriors is like an upgrade from the warrior, where the warrior has a certain number of kills. I believe it's 3 kills. Then you can bring out an elite warrior, and by sacrificing that old warrior with the 3 kills, and now you got an elite warrior, slightly stronger, better effects, a little bit more powerful effects. Some of the effects, yeah, basically more powerful effects. Next, third card is your maroon card, kind of like a red colored card. These are your warlords. Warlords are a lot higher level, higher attack, higher rest position, which is defense. And a lot of them are much more powerful effects than any of the other cards. The last card, going back real quick, backtrack. With the warlord cards, in order to bring the warlord cards out, you have to have an elite warrior on your side of the field that has 5 kill counters, which means that it's defeated 5 of your opponent's warriors in battle and then die. You sacrifice that elite warrior with those 5 counters, now you get your warlord out of your hand. Now the next one is your legendary warriors. Now legendary warriors are the OP cards of the deck. The legendary warriors are so powerful that we actually limited them to only 3 total legendary warriors in the entire deck. Doesn't matter if it's the same warrior or if it's different warriors. There could be a total of only 3 legendary warriors in any deck. That is per our rules, because they are pretty much overkill. They are the most powerful fighters that you have in the game, but they're also the most difficult to come out. For a legendary warrior to come out, you have to have a warlord that has 7 kill counters. But second caveat, you also have to have a warrior and an elite warrior on your side of the field. In order to bring out a legendary warrior, you have to sacrifice 1 elite warrior, 1 warrior, and 1 warlord that has 7 counters on the warlord itself. And then you take all this out, and now you have the legendary warrior. And these ones are kind of like a silver. Well, the other one was gray. It's kind of like more of like a silver color to them. So those are your types of fighters. The other type of cards you have are your support cards. So starting on the left hand side, on my left hand side here, is your equipment cards, which are kind of like a bronze type of color to them. Equipment cards can either be a one turn, which means you play it and it goes to the discard, or you play it and it can stay on the field. Some of them are continuous. The equip cards play, if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, they play just like a spell card does. You can put it face down if you want, so you can activate it later, or you can play it face up on your turn. One thing different from Yu-Gi-Oh that we don't have, we do not do quick play cards as far as spell cards are concerned. The next one, just kind of go over here to this one. The next one is your tactics card, which is more of like a gold color to the card. Tactic cards play just like trap cards do in Yu-Gi-Oh, which means that on your turn, when you're about to play a trap or play the tactic card, it has to be played face down. And then after your turn is over, as long as the effect is valid, you can go ahead and flip that card face up and activate the effect on it as long as the effect is valid. Then the next one, the green cards. These are your battlefield cards. These ones are very similar to a field magic card in Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, we know with the new rule sets for Yu-Gi-Oh, it allows you to have multiple field cards on the field at the same time. We chose not to do that, not to go that route. There's one battlefield in play at any time. If there's a battlefield already in play and somebody plays another one, then the one that's already in play gets destroyed and gets into the discard pile. Reason being, you're in a battlefield with a bunch of warriors. You can only be on one battlefield at a time. You're not going to have a half battlefield being this one and another half of it doing something else. So that's kind of our reasoning for it. Plus, it just makes more sense. Now, one thing with these cards, you'll notice that on the battlefield card, I'm going to show it on the screen. On the battlefield card, you're going to have a little icon in the top right hand corner. That icon right there is just like a little gravestone, like a gravestone marker. That's how you know it's a battlefield card. Plus, it says battlefield and it's green. The tactic card will have its icon will be a old school time glass. And then the equipment card will look like a shield and sword kind of emblem right there. Now, in our game, basic rules of the game can be found on our website, which is soulsbattle.com. Basic rules: there's only one warrior that can be played at a time during your turn, unless you have special circumstances, which we call special deploy instead of special summon. In this case, you are not summoning creatures or warriors to the field. You are the commander and you are deploying warriors to the field. You're basically saying, okay, you warrior, you need to go out there and fight. Which in that light, all fighters, we'll call them all fighters, that is an overall word that encompasses every one of the different warrior types. But all the fighters can only be played in face-up attack position, which means that there would be no fighters going to defense position. Every fighter will go into attack position because your warriors are out there for battle, not to go and sit back on their butt. Now, when it comes to doing battle, when you declare an attack with your warrior, after you declare attack, it goes into what we call rest position. It's like a defensive position. Is basically the warrior did their attack, and now they're tired and they're recuperating so they can go and do another attack. So this is your rest position, which is horizontal. Vertical position is your attack position. Very similar to many other games, Naruto, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of them like that same kind of concept. We don't call it tapping like they do in Magic. We're basically saying that after your attack, you've gone to rest position, and that's how it goes. Basic rules for combat is very similar to any other game. It's the generic rules. If your opponent has a fighter whose attack is higher than your attack position creature or monster or fighter, then your fighter dies. Their fighter gets a kill counter, and you take the difference in damage to your soul points. if your fighter is in rest position and their fighter has a higher attack value than your rest position value, then your fighter dies. They get the kill counter, but you take no damage. So very simple rules like that. Now the kill counters are given whenever two fighters engage each other on the battle. The winner of that battle gets a kill counter, and the loser of that battle gets sent to the grave to the discard pile unless otherwise stated. So when you guys are doing your battle, if you have your warrior and he has 3 kill counters, you can, if you have an elite warrior in hand, you can sacrifice that warrior. You put out your elite warrior. Now you have an elite warrior. When your elite warrior has 5 kill counters and you have in your hand, you can sacrifice him with those 5 counters. Bring out your warlord. Now if your warlord has 7 kill counters and you have an elite warrior and a warrior on your side of the field, then you can sacrifice the warlord with the 7 counters, sacrifice the elite warrior and the regular warrior, and you bring out your legendary warrior. Okay? Battlefields go in the field, they stay in place. Some of them are global, which means that both players can utilize them, but most of them are only on the side of the controller itself. Tactic cards, when you play them, they play face down first. After your turn is over, during your opponent's turn or during any turn after the turn that you placed the tactic card, basically like laying a tactic down, then you can flip it over, activate this effect. Now some effects for the tactic cards are one time, and there are a few of them that are actually continuous effects, which means after you flip it over and you activate the tactic card, it stays on the field as long as that effect is valid, or until somebody destroys the card. Your equipment card, you can play it face down if you choose to on your turn. If you do play it face down during the turn, you cannot activate it at the same turn. However, afterwards you can activate whenever you want. You can play your equipment card during any of your turns. And some of them again have a one-time effect. Some of them have a continuous effect, which means they stay on the field at the same time. Okay, so there are, as far as the field positioning goes itself, and how the field works, you can see something pop up on the screen now while I'm talking. So you can see on here that there are 5 positions for the fighters, which means those fighters can play in one of those 5 positions. It means you can have a total of 5 fighters on the field at any one time. As far as the support cards, 1 battlefield position, and that's it. You can't have more than 1 battlefield in play, so you can put 1 on your side of the field there. And then you have your support card, your tactics, and your equipment cards. Now there can be a total of 6 tactic and equipment cards combination, which means that you can have 3 tactic cards and 3 equipment cards. You can have 5 equipment cards and 1 tactic card. As long as there's not more than 6 of either of those 2 cards in play at the same time, then that's your maximum right there. As far as your hands are concerned, you can have no more than 7 cards in your hand. Anything more than that, then you have to discard that card at the end of your turn. When you first draw the cards, when you first start the game, each player draws 5 cards, and the first person to go, or the first player to go, will go ahead and draw their first card, and they can go ahead and play. But the last person to draw cards is the first person who can attack. So I hope that the video give you a nice explanation of what the game is, how to play the basic rules of the game. You can find the whole rule book on our website at soulsbattle.com, and you'll see a link on the page in the video right here. You can download the entire official rule book. You can also even look at the first set of cards, all 147 cards. You also get to see some of the latest pictures and images that we have for the cards, and actually the actual cards themselves. And get access to our other website, No Limit Games, which is our corporate site. So we do hope that this video was informative. Please leave comments, leave us a like if you liked it. Let us know if I did a good job on the video. It's my first one. If it sucked, I'm sorry. I'll make the second one better, hopefully as best I can. But give me some comments down at the bottom. I will read them and I will respond back to them immediately as soon as I get them. And all those comments will help to make this video series even better and better. We do have a Kickstarter campaign, like I mentioned earlier, and we do welcome all of you to come and check it out. Right now, As of today, I believe it has about 15, maybe 16 days left. So we're really trying to push to try to get that campaign successful. Alright, so again, thank you for watching the video. Leave me some comments, leave us a like if you like the video. If not, that's cool. Leave us a dislike, whatever. I mean, I want to know what you guys think about it. Alright, thanks a lot.